Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is wonderful to have you join me today. My name is Belinda and this is Visualized NZ. And it's Trashcraft Tuesday. I love Trashcraft Tuesday. It pushes me to be creative with trash and I hope you're enjoying it too. So today what we are working with is these things. Maybe you recognize it. It is the handle from a brown shopping bag, grocery bag. And I use the bags to make journal covers and collage and all sorts of other things with. But the handles, they're a special breed unto themselves. And if you spend a bit of time and work very carefully, you can untwist the handles. Now, they may be different construction according to how your bag is made, where you are from, etc. But our bags have a 2-layer handle. So this is the core of the bag, of the handle on the bag, and it's basically the same sort of paper as the bag's made out of. So it's that sort of brown, it's quite coarse and strong. And then it's got this lighter paper, which is also brown paper, but it's a different brown, if you can see the difference in colour. It's more sort of yellowy, and it's thinner, and it's more, I feel like it's more fragile. I don't actually know whether it's more fragile, but it feels like it is. Definitely thinner. So there's 2 layers, and if you spend a bit of time, like I said, and just carefully work at it, you can untwist them and get the 2 separated. Now, I don't intend on doing that on camera because it does take a bit of time. You've got to go carefully. Sometimes it's hard to find the beginning of it, although this one actually, I found it not too bad. And this one, contrary to belief, is a different bag because it does not have this paper on the outside. It's just got this paper all the way through. So it does depend on the paper bag, but you're going to get twisty, scrunchy paper of some description if you untwist the handles. So that's what I'm working with today. And I thought, let's just have a play and see what we can do with it. It's super cool texture. It's got all these lovely creases and folds and crinkliness and yeah, super fun, super fun. So play and see what we can come up with. Now the first thing I thought of, quite simply, is a border on a journal page. Like you would do ribbon or lace or a ruffle. Why not just put a bit of this on the page? Now you could turn it into a ruffle. I don't know whether it's long enough to make a ruffle that will do a whole page. You can certainly try. And I would, if I was doing it, I would sew it. And I don't sew on camera because it's too hard to film me at the sewing machine. So I thought, how about we just glue it down? Just simple as. Really, really simple. Can't get much simpler than this. Is just cut it to size and glue it on. Now you could glue it to the edge. You could glue it so it hangs out a little bit. You could wrap it round and do both sides. That just occurred to me, but like, why not? Shall we do that? Just because I thought of it right now and hadn't planned that, it's like, I might just do that, just because. So we want, in that case, we want about half of our width of our strip instead of the full width. So I am going to wrap it around the page because that's something slightly different than just gluing it straight onto the edge of the page, isn't it? Just a little bit different. So let's see what it turns out like. So I've just got a bit of coffee dyed paper here. It's quite thin paper. It's a lined, I want to say notepad sort of paper. Oops, actually make sure it gets in the glue. And I'm just using a tacky glue here because I don't want to smush all of the texture out of it because that's not as much fun. We want that texture in there. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put glue on this side as well. and just wrap it around and glue it down like so. Oops, bit of glue on the mat. So now we've got this fun, really cool, actually I love that edge of the page. Like, that is super cool. I love that. I think that's a great idea. And I'm tempted to just go ahead and use all the rest of it and do that on a whole bunch of pages. But I'm not going to, because that's not exactly fun for you guys, is it? So that's one idea. Let's try something else. Now I do need to grab out my journal wherever I've buried it. Oh, where? Ah, here it is. So easy to bury things. So this is my journal that I'm working in for this month, for January. So yes, it will still be January when you see this video, the last day of January. And in here, on this page, I've actually used a bit of this handle material, just cut a segment, sort of like that, and just wrapped it around as a page tab. So I had thought of that, and it's just slightly different. So our crinkles are going a different way. They're going this way as opposed to this way, but similar idea, but this is just as a page tab. So there's another idea. I'm not going to redo it and show you, because there's the example. So that's another thing you can do with this paper. Okay, why don't we make some clusters? I'm just going to snip it into sections. It's quite funny to cut because of all the ridges, so it kind of jumps when you're cutting, which is all fine. So let's see what we can do making clusters with these. So I'm thinking postage stamps might be nice. So grab out my container of stamps here. Well, there's a Christmas one. We could go Christmas, couldn't we? Why not a Christmas one? Oh, I'm finding a whole heap of Christmas ones. We don't want to do all Christmas though. So how about this one? This is a more landscape one. Just trim it down a little bit. And most of these in here are New Zealand stamps. So, oops, this one doesn't want to lay flat. Okay. No, it doesn't want to stay flat. It will once it's all together. And perhaps one more stamp, just because we're on that sort of theme at the moment. Here we go, this one will do. Actually, shall I leave that? I think I'll leave that brown paper around it because I think that's quite cool. Okay, so clusters. We need more than 2 bits, don't we? Yes, we do. So let's see what we've got in the way of book page or text or music or something. Something. Looking through my bag of things here. Okay, this is a nice strong paper, quite thick. So we could go in behind, or even actually need to take off that plain bit there. Something like that. And maybe this bit, it's so annoying, it just will not sit flat. Maybe if we turn it up the other way it might help. Let's try it. Maybe this bit, oh, if I can pick it up, maybe we can pop that bit in there. Like that. And this bit Actually, I think I want to get rid of that straight edge, so that's what was bothering me with that bit. The other bits have got straight edges as well, but I could live with it for some reason, and on this bit it was bugging me. So, maybe something like that. Okay, that's all so good so far. Could inject a little bit of colour. Let's see what this is like. This is turmeric dyed paper. So it's definitely yellow. It has got a slight grittiness to it, even though I've cleaned it off with a wet wipe. It's still got a little bit of the gritty texture from the turmeric. I think I used a bit much turmeric in my colouring solution. Yep, I like that. Just that little pop of colour. Like that. And one more bit. Might as well do them all the same. And like that. Right. Now, to put these together, you could staple them. You could sew them. Sewing them would look really, really cool. Or you could glue them. So it's up to you what way you tackle them. I think I'll just glue because it's the easiest to do at the moment. So I'm just going to glue them together, and they're not going to end up the same way I had them arranged because I just can't remember how I had them. So they will be however they turn out. And then around here. And I'm probably getting glue in places I don't need glue, but never mind. And, oops, case in point. Just do a wee bit of clean up there. Oh, my system's making all sorts of gurgles. I hope you can't hear it because I've just had a drink, and after eating, sometimes when I have a hot drink, it just makes all sorts of gurgles as it goes through my system. It's really weird and very noisy, and I'm very self-conscious of it, but I hope you can't hear it. And it's very random too, like you think you're fine and then just away it goes again. Our bodies are very unique, aren't they? And they will do what they do. And it's raining. It's supposed to be really super warm this week, but it's raining today. It's not cold though. You can see I'm still in like light sleeve. I'm not cold or anything, but it's raining. Now I haven't distressed any of this, so I could either distress around the edge if I decide that I want it when I go to use it on a project, or not. Right, there we go, that one, and gluey fingers. And I may still sew these later, once they're all dry, and if I've got the sewing machine out, I might decide that I will go ahead and sew them. Oops, getting glue everywhere. There we go. So we have 3 little clusters, and I do think sewing would just really just complete them, so they can go on anything. So, you know, they could go as a little page decoration, turn it over so you can sort of see better. Little page decoration. It could go on the top of a pocket or a journal card. So you've got a pocket here. You know, you could pop them as a little top. You know, wherever you use a cluster, you could use those. So I'm just going to pop them upside down so the glue can dry while we keep going. Excuse me. At the risk of more gurgles, I'm having another drink. Right. So my other idea, or another idea, is to use it as a pocket trim. So I've got a pocket base here that was one I made during the whole book challenge back in October last year, which seems forever ago, and I've still got a whole heap I haven't decorated up. And this is one of them, and it's this cute little angled pocket. It's got angled top, so you could turn that into a pocket if you glue it down just down on the straight bits and leave it as a pocket there, and then it's got this front pocket. So first I think I want to decorate this. Just grabbing a digital that I might want to put on there. This one looks kind of fun. So I've just got a bunch of printouts from Weathered Textures that I've printed out for the purpose of collaging with. Some really great affordable texture background sort of things. If you've been watching my videos recently, you'll see I've been using a number of Weathered Textures ones on the backs of things. I've used the lace kit from Weathered Textures as the backing for my Cowgirls and Lace journal. And this one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's maps, basically. Maps, and they've all been textured up with additional layers and all sorts of fun bits and pieces. Right. So I was just cutting off the white edge, and let's just tear off a piece. It's got some nice colours in this page. I think that's straight. Oops, left little bits on the side, and about there. So they're going to annoy me, those little fragments that didn't tear off properly, so I'm just going to snip them. Oh, go away, silly little piece of paper. Right, so that we are just going to glue down there, and I'm just going to go ahead with the tacky glue while I've got it out and glue that down. I'm going to push it closer to the bottom, like so. Yeah, love those colours. And maybe we'll use a bit of this lighter paper that was around the outside of the handle. I'm thinking we'll just put a strip along there, along the top of that pocket. So just cut it to size. And glue it on. So again, really simple, not hard to do. The hardest part is actually unwinding the handles to get the paper out, and often at the beginning and the end of the strips you need to trim a bit off because it's been torn, because it's quite well glued down. Right, just push it in so that we keep all our crinkles. Don't want to lose all those beautiful crinkles. There we go. So that's our edge of our pocket, which looks really cool, but I want to decorate it up a bit more. And I'm not sure if I will find exactly what I'm looking for, but let's have a wee fossick. This is my bin of lace and bits and pieces that... Oh, there's a handle sitting in there. Look at that. I knew I had some around somewhere, but I had to go grab a new piece off of a bag because I wasn't sure where I'd put them. Well, I just found them. Just feeling like we need some sort of little... I mean, we could add that on top. It could be... Actually, I kind of like that. It's not what I was going for, but I'm just going to do it. It's just a random bit of brown trim I found. So let's see if I can glue in a straight line. Yep. Life's challenges. Can you glue in a straight line? Straight enough. It'll be good. There, I think that's rather cute. But it's not exactly what I was aiming for. Which is okay. I don't know that I've got in here what I need anyway. You know, that's that length of brown trim. I don't know where it came from, but it's all I've got of that. But you could easily use some rickrack instead. You could use a bit of lace, some yarn, a bit of ribbon, you know, anything that you've got would do. You know, like this bit of creamy coloured lace would have looked, you know, that would have looked nice as well. But no, I'm not finding in there what I wanted. Oops, where to put them without everything falling out. What I was looking for was like a little 3D flower or something that would just like look nice and pretty. But I can't find anything at the moment, so we'll just move on. While I'm here, I'm thinking, do I want to also cover the top of that pocket? And I'm thinking maybe I do. So we might as well finish the job, or as close to anyway. Oops, little bits of fibres out of my bin. And so I'm just going to leave a little gap there between the pocket and the bit of paper I'm going to stick down. I'm making a few scraps along the way, aren't I? Which will be fun to use somewhere. And this time I'll use glue stick, I think, because I want to make sure that the pocket's easy to get into and out of. Now I've grabbed out a new glue stick because I used up my other one this morning. Took it down to the plastic, so I need to get into it with a palette knife. And that just takes too much time to do it on video, so I'm going to just use the new one for this video. I do like the start of a new glue stick. It's like, you know, it's like you can do a whole heap with a new one. You know, it's going to last you a good length of time, and you can get stuck in and you don't have to worry about, oh, it might be running out, or is there enough, or, you know, any of those things. So there we go. We have our decorated little pocket. You could even just put a little bit up here as well. In fact, we could, or would that be silly? What do you think? Would that look silly if we put a bit up there as well? I think maybe it would. I need to ink it, I think, and that might just be, it is already inked, but I need to ink it darker. And that might be what it needs to sort of bring it together. Let's bring that ink on round to the book page a bit more than what it was. No, I think that's fine. I like it. I do. Right, so there's another idea. Just looking at my list of ideas that I wrote of things that I could do. So we've done page tab, we've done a pocket trim, we did clusters, we did page trim. Okay, so the next thing I've got on my list, and actually the last thing, so it's either I'll be calling it quits after this one, or unless another idea comes to me. So a journaling card. So first off, I want to cover it, to decorate it. So maybe I'll collage the back of it with writing paper. So this is a bit of the grocery bag, actually. Oh, which the two sides are different colours. I don't think it matters. It's quite nice that they're different colours. Gives you different options for the same bit of cheap paper. Cheap, strong paper too. You know, grocery bags aren't thin brown paper. Not the ones we get anyway. So first up, I'm going to collage the back with writing paper. And I'm just fossicking in my bag for bits of paper. Here's some more brown paper, but this is painter's masking paper. So it definitely is thin. A lot thinner than the grocery bag, but not flimsy. Well, flimsy might be exactly what it is. It's not fragile. It's reasonably strong. I do think I need glue stick for this though. I do like different colours of brown paper too. It makes things fun. Pop this one along there. And I might or might not sew around this journal card. Probably won't, if I'm honest. Because once it's all decorated up, it will be like, I don't see the point. It's already done, it's together, it's not falling apart. If it is not glued properly, then it will need sewing around. I'm just going to put a bit more glue in between the book page halves. This is a glue page that I've glued on, and then I've just torn it off, folded it in half to use as a journal card. So that's what the base is that I'm working on, which I realise I hadn't actually told you, and some of you will know that because you've watched my videos and others might not. And a bit of this yummy packing paper, I think. I think we'll get enough out of this if I just tear it across here. Yep. So next time you're got a grocery bag that's perhaps reached the end of its life, or you don't need anymore, because if you're like me, you go to grab something from the supermarket and you come out with several things, and you didn't take a bag because you thought you're only grabbing one thing or a couple of things and you could carry it, and then you realize as you're dropping things onto the counter that nope, you can't carry them all out to the car and juggle your keys and your handbag and, in my case, a crutch. So you end up buying a bag because you didn't take one in with you, and you soon end up with way more than what you actually need, because you've got your fabric ones as well, which you reuse if you remember to take them when you go shopping. I don't actually do the main shopping, my husband does, because it's just too hard for me physically with using crutch and it's painful to do too much walking. So my husband does it, and he often uses boxes. So we end up with boxes everywhere, which our cat Snuggles loves to hop into, and then every now and then he'll break them down and take them to his work where there's a cardboard cage and they get recycled. Right, so that's the back done. So what do we want on the front? I think I'll go with another Weathered Textures piece, just because that's what I've got handy. So we've got, I think these are all map based ones, but I kind of like this top one, which is a map combined with like doilies, lacy doilies. So just trim off the white edge again. Not terribly straight, never mind. A blind man would be pleased to see it. Oops, gosh, I'm all over the show. You can't tell, but it really honestly is so all over the place. In and out, up and down. It's a great day. It's a fabulous day. Right. So friends of ours went away on holiday yesterday, and we're looking after the guinea pig and the cat. And they've got 3 dogs as well, but the dogs go into a kennel. So yeah, my husband is actually the one looking after them. And there's a teenage son who's left at home alone. So it's a bit of checking up on him as well, just to make sure that he's okay, that he's behaving himself, not getting up to mischief, or, you know, being fed, that sort of thing. His grandmother is feeding him, you know, a few meals, but he won't be eating all the time at his grandmother's. And yeah, just to keep an eye on things. And they just live in the next street over to us. And then when we go away, they'll be looking after our 4 cats for us and doing things like watering pot plants and, you know, all those things that need to be done when you're going away for a bit, and checking on, making sure everything's safe and no one's broken in or things like that. So yeah, nice to have friends where you can reciprocate and look after things for each other. Takes a lot of the concern away and a lot of the hassle of what to do with, especially with your pets, because we've never ever put cats into a cattery. And I know one of our cats would not cope. She'd be way too stressed. She would never cope with going into a cattery. We prefer to leave them at home, and usually our neighbours right next door to us will feed them for us. And we would have asked them this time as well, except this time, because our friends in the next street are going away and we're doing it for them, it just seemed natural that do it in reverse, is what I was trying to say. That was so hard to get out. Maybe I need another cup of tea. Hang on a sec while I have a sip. I think I need to stop talking. My words are getting all fuddled. Right, so we've got a journal card base, and we can decorate that up a bit more. But what I was wanting to do, now do I want the heavier one or the lighter one? I think the heavier one. And I think I want 2 pieces of it. So 2 the same width, and I'm going to glue it half onto the top of the journal card. Just not even half, it's less than half. And then same on this side. And then I'm going to glue the rest of the 2 bits together. And I hope this works. I haven't tried this before. I'm sure it will work. I'm sure it'll be fine, she says confidently, quaking in her boots. Okay, so first we'll stick it onto the journal card along there. And then, okay, so they're not cut straight. Okay, never mind. We can always clean up the glue mess first, and we can always trim it up. Like so. And then it's a little bit sort of wobbly at the moment while that glue dries, but it will firm up as the glue firms. And so we've got this little, like a tab top, I guess, so that we can pop it in our pocket. So let's grab our pocket down. So we can have it in our pocket here, or behind the back pocket if you use that as a pocket. So it's like a tab to pull it out. Or if you go in a, so imagine this was on your page as a side pocket. So you had it this way in your pocket here and then a pocket here. Then you can put it that way as well, if it fits on your page, of course. It may not, and you may decide to trim it down a little bit if it hangs out too much, but certainly this way round it'll fit no problem. So there's another little idea, and of course just decorating that up a bit more, and I haven't covered that particularly well, so I'm just going to cut off where I didn't cover. There, now no one will know. So that's all the ideas I had. Can I come up with anything else on the fly is the question. I'm not coming up with anything. There's just nothing happening in my head. It's gone, oh, I don't know. So there are my ideas. So trim on a pocket, like tab bit, or again you could do a trim on a journal card. So a tab or a trim on a journal card. Your page trim wrapping around or not. You don't have to wrap it around. The one that we didn't do, which is making a ruffle. Actually, I do have one more idea. Sometimes you've just got to go over things before something comes to you. So I was almost going to let you go. Shocking. Right, do I want the heavy one or the lighter one? I think the lighter one will be easier to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it at the top, I think. Yes, the top. I'm going to put a reasonable amount of glue up here. Like so. And I'm going to put one end down, and I hope this works, and then I'm going to kind of ruffle it and squish it down, just every now and then, scrunching it up, folding it to create a bit of a ruffle. And this is the alternative to sewing, and you could then sew it afterward if you wanted. You could take your page to the sewing machine and sew along it. You could hand sew it. I love hand sewing in a journal. Right, and just sort of crease it along until you've done the width of your page. And there, easy peasy. How simple is that? And you've got this cool textured ruffle. And depending on how big you make your creases, you might need to put a little bit of glue in underneath each crease where it folds back on itself. But it also depends on your paper. Like this one's quite light, it stays down quite well, and then once it's in a journal between other pages, it's going to stay. This heavier paper, it's going to want to pop up a bit more because it's got more substance, so you might want to glue in between each crease just to hold it in place. Experiment with that, but super easy. If you've got glue, you can do yourself a fun ruffle, or you could even staple it. If you like staples, if you want to staple it, go ahead and staple it. And then on the back, if you stapled it, you could put a different trim. You could put a strip of washi tape, you could put a bit of decorative paper, you could put a banner over top. Yeah, I mean, you could do lots of things. You could disguise it any way you choose. So there's my final idea. I think I now am out of ideas. So clear off so we can see, and I'll bring across my clusters that will be dry now. And you can do clusters in so many different ways, so this is just one quick way, but you can have fun with those as well. Be all creative. Oh, I didn't leave much of that book page showing. Oh well. There's the wee clusters, and then there's the example of the page tab here in my journal. So there we go. There's some ideas using these. I hope you have a go. I hope you recycle those grocery bag handles into something really cool and effective for your journals. Thanks so much for joining me. Have fun, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.